Hello. Welcome back. Dagic here for part 2 of Duskmourn House of Horrors. Will I put it in my deck? I'm your host, Jeremy Hayes, and here we will talk about some more cards from Duskmourn that I am considering, spoiler alert, I have put in my decks. Again, we're still talking about mostly enchantment decks. Sithis Harvest Hand, Tuvasa the Sunlit, Narcy, Fable Singer of Fables, I think. And Wildseer Devouring Maw, I think. I've looked at the card since part 1. Devouring Maw. So, today it's going to be a bit shorter, I hope. We're going to go over a couple cycles of cards specifically. I thought it was a little bit appropriate to go over these 3 sets of cycles just all together. We'll talk about the cards individually and why they're good, why I think they're bad, if I'm going to put them in my deck or not. But yeah, so first cycle. I love these guys. The Enduring cycle. I love them. So we have Enduring Curiosity is the blue one. Enduring Vitality is the green one. Enduring Tenacity is the black one. Enduring Innocence, who's the cute little lamb. It should be a lamb. It's the white one. And Enduring Courage is the red one. So they all do different things. They're all enchantment creatures. One's a cat, elk, snake, sheep, and dog. And they're glimmers as well. So it's a new enchantment creature type. They all do different things. The reason why this cycle is really cool, I think it's really cool. The reason why I love it, the reason why I have at least 2 copies of each of these cards already, is because when they die, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. So it's almost like they have totem armor, like in Estrid, the mask. If you put a mask on one of your enchantments, they have to kill it twice. Right? So it's like that. You have to kill these things twice. I mean, none of them, well, Vitality you do, and Courage I think you do, want to kill. You don't want this on the battlefield. In terms of goodness, of how awesome they are, how good they are, Enduring Vitality I feel like has the highest ceiling of them all. The green one. Enduring Vitality is a 3/3 with Vigilance for 1 and 2 green. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. So I have 4 of these. So this one has gone into Sithis. This one has gone into Tuvasa. It has gone into Abzantments, into Narcy. And it's going into, so the spoiler card from last time that I talked about, Marina Vandrel. I'm building Marina Vandrel, the 5-color Enchantress. I'm thinking about calling it Entraxaments because it's like the Atraxa, where when it enters the battlefield, you look at a bunch of cards. This one, though, it enters the battlefield, you look at a bunch of cards, and you get the enchantments. So I'm thinking about calling it Entraxaments. Right now, I think it's on the list in Moxfield as Enhauntments. The first version of the deck might be a Doors deck, which we'll talk about Doors in part 3. But it might come down to just a degenerate, let's put, 1 combo of each color and enchantments in the deck. But I think Enduring Vitality is the best one of these. Just because it's just, again, that ceiling is so high, right? You have 5 creatures when you play this. You're without Summoning Sickness, and suddenly you've netted 2 mana. You're up 2 mana by spending 3 and playing this card. And when it dies, it comes back. They all die, they come back. It's amazing. So it dies, it comes back. You still have the ability. You still have to destroy now the enchantment. So you have the creature removal first. That's great. But now you only the enchantment removal works. So I think this one, it just does the thing. It mana fixes, it ramps, it sticks around. Enduring Vitality is my favorite one. It is I think it should have been a deer over an elk. I feel like deer, in the background of the forest, lit up by by lights or glowing. A deer seems more innocent to me and hopeful than an elk. I don't know. It should be a deer. but it's the best one. The next two that are the best ones, which would not be the card advantage to, but I think Enduring Tenacity and Enduring Courage are the two best ones. Just because if you combo with these, you win the game. Right? Enduring Courage is the red one. And this is I was off on this one. I had originally ordered the first four there, the blue, the green, the black, and the white one. They don't play a lot of red overall. But as I was looking at this, I realized, oh, hey, if you can go infinite with this and make infinite creatures in a turn, you win the game. So Enduring Courage is 2 and 2 red for a 3/3 Dog Glimmer. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. So you make these infinite creatures somehow, and yeah, it's relatively easy to make infinite creatures in enchantments. That's the whole point of Sithis. You just add red to that, and then you're good to go. So you win the game there. Like it's you get infinite creatures, you attack. Yeah, you're gonna lose to no, not lose, but you're not gonna win against a Glacial Chasm. You're not gonna win against Meldrotha, Spore Frog Loop, something like that. But like, you can win the game that way. Yeah, the other one though. So that's that card. I'm thinking about putting it in Wild Seer just because it costs 4. It's an enchantment. If I play it after I play Wild Seer, it cascades from 4. It's on curve to play before Wild Seer. Wild Seer comes out, becomes an 8/6 with trample attacks on that turn, and that's a half sub theme. It's barely a theme in the deck where I can make Wild Seer big and attack. Just because I have the Ogier, I forget the full name, the red god from the new Ixalan, the newer Ixalan set. So like if I can make him really big, the damage gets done. It's a group slug kind of deck. So I'm a bit higher up on Courage here, realizing that if you go infinite, I win the game at that point. And let me really quick turn up the volume on my baby monitor. Right? Don't go anywhere without the baby monitor. There we go. And same with Enduring Tenacity. So Enduring Tenacity is the black one. It's a 2 and 2 black for a Snake Glimmer. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So right there, it's a Sanguine Bond, whatever the other one is, combo. But it's half of that combo, right? So you just combo for one. If you can infinitely gain life, your opponents infinitely lose life. And it balances back and forth and wins that way. In Absentment and Narsi, I am... Oh, here's the other thing. So Vitality and Tenacity are both in Absentments, mostly because if you play either Opalescence or the one that most people know is Starfield of Nyx, and make all of your enchantments into creatures, you can infinitely sack these things. Right? Because you sack it, it was a creature, so it comes back, it's not a creature. But Starfield of Nyx is out, making it a creature. So you sack it again, and it comes back in. So with Narsi, which Narsi, Fable Singer, it says whenever you sacrifice enchantment, draw a card. So, right, you have infinite draw. Cool, great. If you have any kind of enchantment ETB, Eerie, Constellation, infinite of those triggers. Great. What's the guy? What's the black one? Or the black card. I always forget his name. Whenever enchantment enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So there you go. You just won the game. Likewise, there is a enchantment sack outlet. Not a whole lot of these. Called Faith Healer, I think. 1 on a white for a 1/1. It's a creature. Whenever you sacrifice an enchantment, you gain life equal to its mana cost. So even during Tenacity, you have Faith Healer, you have Starfield of Nyx. So 3 cards. You sack the Enduring Tenacity, right, as the cost for the Faith Healer. The Faith Healer, these happen simultaneously, so you can stack them as you want. But the Faith Healer ability of gaining life goes on the stack. You resolve Enduring Tenacity's ability first, because that goes on the stack as well, where if it dies and it was a creature, it goes back to the battlefield. So it comes back to the battlefield, and then Faith Healer's ability resolves, gaining you the 4 life. Enduring Tenacity sees this gain of life and each target opponent loses 4 life. And because the Story of Nyx is out, or Opalescence is out, which is an older, more expensive card, money-wise, they both make your enchantments into creatures. They're both really good. This thing becomes a creature again, and you can repeat, and you win the game that way. So that's why Enduring Vitality and Tenacity are both in the deck, just as infinite sack outlets to draw my deck infinitely, or have those infinite triggers. And Enduring Tenacity alone with the one enchantment sack outlet will win the game. Because there's not a lot. I really want Wizards to print a Cart Clan Ironworks, a Phyrexian Altar, but for enchantments, right? Just give me that. You have it for creatures, you have it for artifacts. Give it to me with enchantments. That's not a lot to ask for. It's not. It's really not. And then the last two, Enduring Curiosity and Enduring Innocence. I think Enduring Curiosity beats Enduring Innocence. So Enduring Innocence is the weakest one here. They both draw cards. Enduring Curiosity, 2 and 2 blue with flash for 4/3. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So a lot of those effects around. This one you have to kill twice. It's a kitty. It's not in Naya, so you can't play it in a cat deck, unfortunately. But it's cool. It's neat. A lot of enchantment decks will have cards that whenever you cast or enchantment ETBs will make a creature. So you have a bunch of creatures. Surprisingly enough, enchantments do have a lot of creatures. Especially nowadays when the Wizards is pushing these enchantment creatures as a thing. So you're gonna have creatures. You can attack. This goes well with all the synergies of all your other enchantresses and all, especially the blue one now, the blue enchantress, entity tracker, which we talked about before. So it's great. The ceiling on this one is much higher than Enduring Innocence, so that's why I think it is better. Vitality is just overall fantastic and useful. Tenacity and Courage, you can win the game. So anyway, it goes Enduring Vitality, Tenacity and Courage, or it'd probably be Tenacity then Courage, because Tenacity you can win without attacking. Courage you have to win by attacking. But that Enduring Curiosity because it doesn't win on its own. And then Enduring Innocence because it's only ever going to draw you 1 card a turn. It is 1 and 2 white for a 2/1 lifelink. Whenever one or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So it's a welcoming vampire that sticks around when it dies, which is neat, which is cool. It's great. I like it. I like the card. It did not make the cut in Absentments just because having 2 of these effects are fantastic. I picked the 2 better ones. It didn't make the cut in Tuvasa or Sithis just because it doesn't draw me enough cards at all in those decks. I would play it. I would play it in my Adeline Resplendent Cathar deck. So in a mono white deck, right, where Welcoming Vampire is good, this card is good too. Right? So if Wizards ever decides now, with taking over Commander, that the One Ring will get banned, I wouldn't be wholly upset about it because that's the deck I have the One Ring in. I would just slot this thing in there, and I would be fine with it. I'm like, okay, cool. Welcoming Vampire is good. Dracasia's Welcome is good. This thing is good in Adeline. I don't need the One Ring. The One Ring is obviously better. But if it got banned, I'm like, okay, well, I'm out $40. Here's an Enduring Innocence to replace it. So that's these. So I have 4 copies of Enduring Vitality that goes in 4 decks. Enduring Tenacity's in a deck. Enduring Curiosity. So Curiosity, Innocence, and Courage all in the Marina deck. So was the Vitality and Tenacity. I love these cards. I think they're great. They're a great design. Having to kill the enchantment twice is fantastic. They're already hard enough to kill, which I admit, but it's cool. I like them. So I have a copy of each, 2 copies of each, 4 copies of the one. Yeah. Next, cycle, the Overlords. So these are the new Titans, right? Overlord of the Boiler Bilges is the red one. Overlord of the Flood Pits is blue. Overlord of the Mistmoors is white, which honestly I think is the scariest looking one. even Overlord of the Balmurk, even these are all blown up. Oh, that one's pretty freaky looking. I don't know. Miss Morris still scares me the most. And Overlord of the Hauntwoods is the green one. Yeah, Overlord of the Hauntwoods looks like some Miyazaki film dude, so he's actually probably going to be a good guy. He's a friend, right? Boiler Bilges is just a furnace that has an attitude. And Flood Pits looks like a piranha with a library in its chest. Honestly, Flood Pits is the only one of the alternate art cards where they made a bunch of different printings of the cards. Flood Pits, I like the other one better. All the other ones, I prefer these arts better. But anyway, so all of these are going to go in Marina. I want them all in Marina. I've only picked up 2 of them because Marina is not going to be that great of a deck. I think I'm not building it to be that great of a deck, and I don't really want to spend $20 on Overlord of the Hauntwoods. So Overlord of the Hauntwoods was spoiled really early on. 3 and 2 green. They all have impending. So you can all have an impending X, 4 or 5. If you with an alternate cost. If you cast a spell for its impending cost, enters with 4 time counters on it, and isn't a creature until the last is removed, bring your end step, remove a time counter from it. So Overlord of the Hauntwoods, 3 and 2 green, or for a 6/5 creature. Or I can pay 1 and 2 green for an enchantment. And it's just an enchantment. Which is neat, actually. So these come in as, so the Endurings came in as creatures, they die, they become enchantments. These ones can come in as enchantments, and then they become creatures later, which is cool. Again, a neat design. Like that's a really cool, like you can play these, play a board wipe, and then have a 6/5, which is cool. Or a 5/5 or a 6. Like they're all pretty meaty. Like the 5 Overlord of the Flood Pits is a 5/3. That's the smallest one. So Overlord of the Hauntwoods, the green one here, when he enters or attacks, so that's why there's the new Titans, right? Enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named Everywhere that is every basic land type. Cool, great, awesome. So it mana fixes, it puts a land on the battlefield, which is one thing that enchantment struggles with. It's usually either you get to play extra lands or you can enchant your lands. So if they wipe the board of enchantments, you're screwed. And you need to have the lands in your hand to begin with. So this guy is an enchantment that makes lands, which is cool. I was considering him for Tuvasa, but looking at him over Enduring Vitality had the higher ceiling. Right? This guy, ceiling and floor, pretty much the same. Pay 3, get a land. Enduring Vitality, which Enduring Vitality may not do. Like the floor of Enduring Vitality is nothing. I pay 3, he's my only creature, I can't tap him, nothing happens. So with Hauntwoods, but the ceiling of Vitality was so much higher. I picked Vitality over Hauntwoods. So the only place I would put Hauntwoods right now is in Marina. I think it's a fantastic card though. I would consider it in other places. I would consider which were the colors? I guess the white, blue, and red in my Doctor Who deck. I have all the Doctor Who precons. So then David Tennant's Doctor and Rose Tyler, I kind of upgraded that with 10 cards because these are time counters, so I can mess with the time counters on these, which is neat. The black one here, Overlord of the Balmurk, 3 and 2 black, or impending 5 for 1 and a black. Whenever enters or attacks, mill 4 cards, and you may return a non-avatar creature card or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This could go in Absentments. It goes in any graveyard deck, I think. Right? You pay 2 for an enchantment that does this. You have to wait. You have to wait 4 turns because it's at the end of your turn. So you play this with a 5, and it automatically drops down to 4. So this one you're waiting for 5. The other one or 4. The other ones you're waiting for 3 turns. So it's not as bad as you think it is, right? This could go in Absentments because it mills me, and that deck wants to put stuff in the graveyard and bring it back. But right now it's not going in any decks. White one, Overlord of the Mistmoors for 5 and 2 white, so 7 mana. Or its impending cost is 2 and 2 white, so 4, decent rate. Whenever he enters or attacks, create 2/2/1 white insect creature tokens with flying. Oh, how I wish these were enchantment creatures. If these were enchantment creatures, I would have bought like 3 copies of this. And this would be going into so many more decks than it is. Right now, it's not going in any. I think it's like $8, $6 or $8. I didn't pick it up. I just didn't yet. It might be $10. I'm not positive. But it's just 4 mana to make 2 creatures in an enchantment deck. I'm sure all of these are fantastic and limited, right? All these are just amazing and limited. But it's just not there. I consider putting it in the Doctor Who deck because I can pay 4, and it's impending 4. It past the turn, it goes down to 3. I could make it into a 6/6 that next turn, probably with playing with time counters, attack with it, make 2 more 2/1s. So yeah, I would consider putting the correct colors. I think that deck is Jeskai. I'm not positive. She's white, and he's blue-red. I think. I haven't played it in a while. It was more of a fun deck that I just enjoyed the suspense stuff. It was just always doing stuff. This could go in there if it ever drops in price. Maybe Overlord of the Flood Pits. I like this guy. He draws cards. And drawing cards is always good. Even though the Endurance, I put the 2 that draw cards at the bottom. Right? But drawing cards is always good. 3 and 2 blue, impending, 1 and 2 blue, flying for 5/3, so it's the smallest. Oh, Mistmoors was a 6/6, Balmork is a 5/5, or a Hauntwood is a 6/5. So 5/3 is the smallest one. Whenever Overlord of the Flood Pits enters or attacks, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Great. Okay, so we're filtering, we're looting, whatever you want to call that. We're drawing 2 cards. It's great. And if we're for 3 mana, drawing 2 cards. If we have any enchantresses out, we're drawing 3 cards. That's really good. He's in Marina, Vandrel. I was considering him. Oh, so him and Enduring Curiosity were both on the short list for Tuvasa. I ended up cutting them both from there as I was reworking that deck. But he was on the short list, right? Just, again, for the fact that I can pay 3 for an enchantment, draw 3 cards, discard a card, sure, whatever. And then later on, if the game is going on, I have a 5/3 flyer, right? So that's not nothing. It's not great. It's not nothing. And we have Boiler Bilges, this one seems the most, like, these guys all have extra arms and things and craziness, and that guy's got 3 eyes with ghost horns, and definitely 3 arms. This guy's like the furnace from Home Alone, right? If it was an actual monster. And of course he has extra arms. He's a machine. Oh, I didn't notice that dude up in the corner. See that guy up in the top right corner of this dude? He's a smiley face. I don't know if he's possessing the boiler or not, but I don't like him. He's not fun. Anyway, so what are the Boiler Bilges? 4 and 2 red for 6, impending 4 for 2 and 2 red for a 5/5. Whenever he attacks or enters, it deals 4 damage to any target. So cool. It's overcosted removal. He again is in Marina. I could put him in I'm stuck on Floodmaw, which is not the correct name. My Gruul, the Gruul Enchantress deck. Wow, I'm just devouring Maw. Wildseer devouring Maw. He could go in there, right? Because if I cast him for 4, I would Cascade for 4. That seems like a good rate to Cascade in that. It's more of a casual deck, right? I could do that. Does a thing. Deals 4 damage. 3 turns, it becomes a 5/5. That's cool, I guess. And then it can deal 4 more damage. I like the design of these cards. I mean, the best one is Hauntwoods. That's why it's $20 right now. And the rest are like $3 to $8, I think. Don't quote me on that. But Overlord, at time of recording, Hauntwoods is $20 around there. I'm not willing to pay for that. It's very good, though. And I do like the art. Like, Hauntwoods, I like the art on these. Like, they're not as creepy as the guy with the face in the mouth. I didn't like him at all. I have them. I have him. I just don't like the face in the mouth. But these guys, I like the art. Hauntwoods is cool. He reminds me of a Miyazaki film guy. Mostly Spirited Away, the dude that's eating everything. I forget his name. And he's just the best one. Right? Putting a land into play is better than any other kind of ramp there is. So, all right, next cycle is a cycle we've seen many times. Many times. Well, like three times. The ley lines. Oh, hey, ley line of hope is down a little bit. That's fine. So they redid the ley lines, not redid, but printed new ones, mostly new. I almost didn't include the black one because it's ley line of the void, right? 2 and 2 black. If a card you put in an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. This card could go in enchantments, right? I don't play Rest in Peace in that deck. It's the best graveyard hate card ever. I love it. But I want my graveyard to stay intact in that deck, so I wouldn't play it. But I would consider this one, just because having any kind of little graveyard hate is you want at least one piece of graveyard hate, right? Just in case. And most decks will have some kind of recursion, so just getting rid of the graveyards is great. But that's a reprint here. And we have the red one, Ley Line of Resonance for 2 and 2 red. If you would cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only a single creature you control, copy that spell. You can choose to target the copy. Someone's not going into any decks that I have. I don't play Spell Slinger. It's not going into an enchantment deck. If it was like copy and enchantment, I 100% would go in there. But most of these aren't going in my decks, right? Most of these ley lines I'm not playing around with. But since I was talking about the 2 other cycles, I thought I would talk about the ley line cycle here because no ley line is bad, right? Anytime you have the chance to play a 4-drop for free, isn't bad. So you're playing a copy deck, a spell deck, a spell slinger deck. You're running your Ghostly Flicker, Dual Caster Mage combos, right? This would be a good card. You're running Calimax, the dinosaur copy dude. This would be great in that deck, you know. Then blue, Ley Line of Transformation. They're all 2 and their color, right? They cost 2 and then 2 of their color to play. They'll cost 4. So blue, Ley Line of Transformation. Choose a creature type. Creatures you control, all the chosen type in addition to the other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own on the battlefield. So it makes everything the same creature type. So if you're playing a tribe that's not like a typal, I guess, that's not well supported, this is a good card in there. I know there's a few other combos. What was the one card? There's a card back in the day from Innistrad that does this, and it combos with another card from Innistrad, I think, that you make Infinite Wolves. This is one of those cards. It's not going in my decks, right? I don't care about creature types in my enchantment decks. Adeline it's mono white, so it's not going to go in there. That's my only like creature type. I guess I have an elf deck. But Adeline, it's coincidentally a human deck, right? I didn't mean to put humans. She just makes humans. There's a bunch of good humans in there. But yeah, it's not going into my decks. Just an interesting card. It's good. Tell me what you would do with this in the comments. Yeah, Ley Line. I'm going to skip the green one for now because we're going to come back to that last. But Ley Line of Hope. 2 and 2 white. If you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. As long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. Cool. So that could go in. It should go in a life gain deck, right? We've had that ability before. On the one, there's an angel that does it. If you're going to put a Soul Sisters type deck together, I think this definitely goes in it. Making 1/1s into 3/3s is criminally underpowered or criminally underestimated, right? Making a 1/1 into 2/2 is just infinitely better. Making that 1/1 into a 3/3, so good. It's kind of like what is he? Sarah's Ascendant effect there, just on all your creatures, but you need to have 47 life. They fixed the template to account for Commander, right? Not a bad card. I think. I mean, the red one you can win with. The blue one you can win with. The black one's just a good hate piece. This one, like, okay, now, I mean, I just said that these were fantastic. But, okay, you got a bunch of Z3s. Great. What are you going to do with them? What can you do with them? Not a whole lot. And in the wrong pod, right? So. Then we have Ley Line of Mutation, 2 and 2 green. This one's weird. I think it's weird. It's a weird design. You may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost of spells you cast. Like, that's good. It's a good card. But, like, why? Why have all these monocolored ley lines from a couple of different sets, a couple of different, like, rounds of ley lines, and then this ley line is Wooburg. In Commander, this is a Wooburg. You can only play this in a 5-color deck. And it's the green ley line. Why? Like, why? Where's the opportunity there? The opportunity cost of we've lost out on our mono green ley line in this set. We have all of our other colors for ley lines that we can play. We can't play this in a green deck, in a mono green deck. We can't play this in a 4-color deck, right? I just don't understand it. It's a great card. I mean, we've had this effect on Joda. We've had it on sort of on Morphon, because it reduces the mana cost of stuff. But like, I don't understand it. I don't like that design of that ley line. It's not going in any decks. It's not going in Marina, even though it's a 5-color Enchantress deck, because I'm not paying 5 for my 3 and 2 cost of enchantments. It just ain't happening. So I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. So that's it. Those are the three. Those are the three cycles. The Overlords, again, I like them. I want to pick up. I've picked up Boiler Bilges and Flood Pits. I want to pick up the other 3 eventually. I will probably play around with Hauntwoods in a couple different decks. Like I could easily put that in Sithis or Tuvasa or Abzamance, or even any of the enchantment decks that run green. It's a good card, and I want to play around with it. I want to try it out. I don't think I'll ever be upset when I play it for 3 as an enchantment and get that land. It's an overcosted rampant growth, yeah, sure, whatever, but I won't really ever be upset when I play it. The other ones, I can look through that Doctor Who deck. I want to keep it as Doctor Who as possible, so I don't think I want to play around too much with the cards in there. And they have time counters on it, so that's really cool. But I'll check it out then. It's a maybe. And I just love these guys. No notes. No notes on the Enduring Cycle. I love them. Good job. That lamb is adorable. Even that snake is a little cutie. I really hope that deer gets away from that nasty tree. I mean, even if it doesn't get away from the nasty tree, it's coming back as an enchantment. So I love these ones. These ones are great. No notes. That's it. Thanks for joining us on Duskmourn House of Horror. Will I put it in my deck? Part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. I was planning on spoiling that I'm building the Marina Vandal deck then. But so it'll be there. We'll talk about it. But that's gonna be mostly. I'm gonna talk about the doors. I think the doors are a great design. I like them, and it might be particularly good, some of them, but I just like them. We'll talk about what the pros and cons of having an enchantment already on the battlefield that you can pay for again. So yeah, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. Do the things. Comment on what your favorite cycle is. If you like the green one, tell me why. Of the ley lines, the green ley line. What's your favorite Enduring? Did I get the listing right? Vitality, Tenacity, Courage, Curiosity, then Innocence. If you agree with that or not. But yeah, thanks for joining. Have a good one.